Привет всем, с вами я, Janey, и это How Janey Learned Russian. Today is exam day. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and mimic the classroom experience, and I'm going to be having two students, again, this is me just pretending to be two students, answer the questions that are at the end of the nominative case chapter. Obviously, if you haven't heard already, those questions are based on they're included in my textbook called Russian Cases Made Slightly Less Scary. That's available over on Patreon. So at the end of every chapter, I have a section called what can you build with what we learned so far in this chapter. So meaning, can you have a conversation and can you put into practice the concepts that we learned over the course of the chapter? So today is the day that I'm going to be giving you some of these questions, and you're going to be playing a teacher. Okay, so you're not so much answering these questions for yourself today, but rather you're observing. And this is very much like what you would get if you were in a group class setting. And by the way, I do offer group classes. There's more information about those group classes also over on Patreon. And so when you're in a group class setting, you can really learn from the mistakes of your fellow learners. There will be some people in that class that are much better than you, and there will be some people in the class that are much worse than you. And so you can actually learn things from the students who are worse, because as you see them struggle, you get better because you are kind of thinking in your head what they did wrong and making sure that you don't make the same mistake. So you listen to the feedback from the teacher, and then you're also learning from them today. So that's precisely what we're doing in today's video. You're going to be listening in on the oral exam of two different students. One student is a bidnyashka. Bidnyashka means like poor little thing, bless his heart. He is really struggling. And then the other student is an отличник, умничка. Okay, so that other student, straight A student, they've got it down. And the other student will be based on my answers in the textbook. That those of you who have the textbook, you can see my answers written out. Today you're just going to be listening, but you will be able to see the bidnyashka's answers up on the screen, but I'll also be saying them out loud in case you don't have access to the screen right now. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is you're going to pretend like you're a teacher, because I can honestly say that my Russian grew, my improved exponentially when I became a teacher, because you got to really understand stuff in order to catch the mistakes in somebody else and explain it to them in a way so that they stop making those mistakes. So today, as you listen in on these questions, really, you're just really thinking, okay, where did Bidnyashka go wrong? And then you're going to listen to the отличник, the umnichka, the smart one, right after him. And you're going to be like, oh, umnichka said it like this. Oh, now I see where Bidnyashka went wrong. Okay. So I'll ask a question, and then Bidnyashka will answer. And you're going to really kind of listen to his answer. Was that wrong? What did he say wrong there? I think this was wrong. And then you're going to listen to umnichka answer, the smart one. And then you'll be like, yes, I knew it. He used the wrong pronoun, or he didn't make that feminine. And then I will proceed to explain the mistakes. So again, this idea is, can you be a teacher? Can you teach Russian? Can you catch people's mistakes and help them to correct it? All right, so let's get started. All right, poor Binyashka. He is just really struggling. Bless his little heart. He was so lost. Okay, so this is our final oral exam, and we're going to ask some questions. Okay, here we go. Кто это? Это ваш брат? Он русский? У него есть дети? Okay, so Biednyashka says, Нет, это мой сестры. Они не русская. Они американец. Okay, now умничка, the smart student. Да, это мой брат. Он американец. Да, у него большая семья и дети. Okay, so where did Бедняжка go wrong? So he says, нет, это мой сестры. No, I think he's trying to say sisters, plural. So our plural sisters is сестры. Then we have this word мой, which is for a masculine singular. So he needs to say это мои сестры. And then he says, Они не русская. What's wrong there? It should be Они не русские. Они не русские. And then he says, Они американец. They are a singular American man. That doesn't make any sense. So you could either say here, Они американцы or американки. Они американки. I would accept either. Okay, next question. Again, teacher asks, then бедняжка answers, and then умничка answers. Okay, umnichka, by the way, comes from the word umli, smart. It means like, oh, you clever, smart little creature kind of thing. Okay, here we go. Вопрос номер 2. У вас есть машина? Какая машина у вас есть? Какие машины вам нравятся? Okay, бедняжка answers. And you can tell I'm being бедняжка because I'll try and do a bad accent. Да, я есть машина. Это черный. Я нравится большой машине. Okay, and then умничка is going to answer. Да, у меня есть машина. У меня большая, новая, голубая, японская машина Honda. Мне нравятся большие спортивные машины, потому что у меня много детей. Okay, let's go back. So notice when умничка said, she said, у меня есть, and бедняжка said, я есть машина, which is a sentence in Russian, but it means I am a car. It's like an old-fashioned way of saying I am a car. Okay, so remember when you have in Russian, something is by you. So я есть машина is incorrect. He needs to say у меня есть машина. And the есть is optional. You can leave the есть out if you say у меня correctly. Okay? Then he proceeds to say это черный. Okay? Well, машина is feminine and черный is masculine, right? So она, so we could say something like, you could say это черная, that's fine. Or you could say она черная, that's fine. All I'm looking for is that the черный, the black, needs to be feminine. And then he says, я нравится большой машины. Okay, pronouns. They're grammatically important, not just a political issue. Мне нравятся большие машины. Машины is plural, and so we need to make our adjective also plural. Okay, next question. Следующий вопрос. Ваш родной город большой? У вас есть метро? Что вам нравится там? Okay, наш бедняжка. He's gonna say, меня родной город небольшой. У нас не есть метро. Я нравится наш горы и добрые человеки. Okay, now умничка answers this question. Мой родной город небольшой. У нас нет метро. Мне нравятся наши большие красивые горы. Также у нас есть хорошие мексиканские рестораны. Okay, so меня родной город. Pronouns. He's confusing his pronouns with his possessives. We want мой родной город. Мой родной город небольшой. Everything else there is fine. The меня was the only problem. Then, this is a very, very common mistake, and it's okay if you say this one wrong, because I haven't technically told you how to talk about what you don't have, and that's because it gets genitive case. So, the way you say that you don't have a metro is у нас нет. And for right now, just say the word and a Russian will understand you. Later on, you'll learn that the thing you don't have gets genitive case. So it's fine. Later on, when you know better, you'll do better. But for right now, the way you say you don't have something is у нас нет метро. There you go. And then here he goes with his pronouns again. Я нравится. Я нравится. No, remember, it is pleasing to me. It is pleasing to me. Мне нравится. And then he says наш горы. What's the problem with that? Горы is plural and наш is singular masculine. So something's got to change here. Наши горы. And then, bless his heart, he invented a word here. Добрые человеки. What do you think he's trying to say? Человеки, bless his heart. He invented a word. He's trying to say люди, right? So люди, and then we need to make the word добрый, nice, make it plural. Добрые люди. И добрые люди. Окей, следующий вопрос. Вопрос номер 4. Как вы думаете, какой американский город самый красивый и почему? Okay, бедняжка comes in. По-моему, самые красивые города на востоке США. Например, Филадельфия и Бостон. Okay. His mistake here was super small. It might actually be tricky to catch, just FYI. Okay, умничка, наша умничка, she answers. Ой, это трудный вопрос. По-моему, Чарльстон в Южная Каролина очень красивый. Там есть пальмы и очень миленькие старые дома. Люди там очень приветливые. Okay, бедняжка had a tiny mistake here, and it's a totally understandable mistake. What was it? По-моему, самые красивые города на востоке США. It is the word город. The plural of город is города. Города. So he just used the default plural maker, bless his heart. But that is an exception. That's an irregular plural. Города. Самые красивые города на востоке США. So he's saying the most beautiful cities in are on the east coast of America, right? Okay, очень хорошо. Let's go to the next round of questions with our little бедняжка. Okay. Next question. Вопрос номер 5. У вас есть собака или кошка? Какие животные вам нравятся? I'm noticing a typo. Jeez. Okay, that's in the textbook. Anyway, that should be нравятся, just FYI. I'm aware of it. Okay, so he says, so what do you have a dog or a cat? And then what animals do you like? And he says, я нравится птица. Я нравится птица. Here he goes again. Remember, something is pleasing to you. So, мне нравится. And then most likely, he likes more than just one bird. I mean, maybe it is just a bird. He likes the bird. But he's probably wanting to make this plural. So, мне нравятся птицы. Птицы. Мне нравятся птицы. Да, это птицы. Okay. Умничка answers this one. Нет, у нас нет собаки или кошки. Мне нравятся кошки и большие умные собаки. Мне не нравятся маленькие громкие собаки. Не нравится. Это мой, кстати, ответ. Мне не нравятся маленькие громкие собаки. Не нравятся. Okay, очень хорошо. So let's go back to our бедняжка. Я нравится птица. So, мне нравятся птицы. Okay, следующий вопрос. Номер 6. Какие интересные вещи у вас есть? Бедняжка says, я меня есть. Oh, that's a classic. Newcomers always say it like that. Я меня есть. Старая машина. Зовут Ford Mustang. Okay, then we come over here to наша умничка. Какие интересные вещи у вас есть? Я не знаю. По-моему, мои растения очень интересные и красивые. Также у меня красивые фотографии и хорошие книги. Okay. So she said, "У меня." Okay. So that means бедняжка. He had a problem with this I have phrase again. First he was saying "я есть," and now he's saying "я меня." What does he need to say? He needs to say у меня есть. And then he said "старый машина." What's the problem there? Машina's feminine. So we need to say старая машина. And then зовут. We were just talking about this in group class. Inanimate objects cannot зовут. You cannot зовут inanimate objects. They are называется. Называется. Okay, so машина называется Ford Mustang. Yeah? And that's называется is a great phrase to kind of signal, hey, I'm about to say something in English, or I'm about to say the name of this. I'm not just horrifically mispronouncing a Russian word. So that kind of puts the listener on like alert that like, okay, what I'm about to hear is the name of something. Okay. Следующий вопрос. Вопрос номер 7. Как вы думаете, ваш президент хороший человек? And then бедняжка says, я не знаю, кто наш президент. Я не знаю, кто наш президент. Okay. Umnichka, on the other hand, says, and this is, by the way, during when Biden was still president, so this will make more sense. Ну, я не знаю его. Он старый и мудрый и добрый. У него трудная работа. Это точно, да? У него очень трудная работа. Okay, let's come back to бедняжка. Almost everything's correct here. Я не знаю, кто наш президент. So he made наша feminine and президент is masculine. That's it. So he should say, я не знаю, кто наш президент. Poor бедняжка. He doesn't even have basic awareness of the world around him. Poor thing. Okay, хорошо. Вопрос номер 8. У вас есть русские друзья? Они добрые? And then he says, да, у меня русский подруга. Okay, let's go over to умничка. Умничка, у вас есть русские друзья? Они добрые? Умничка says, конечно, мой самый лучший русский друг Костя. Он очень веселый. Также у меня есть украинские друзья. Их родной язык русский, но они украинцы. Ooh, notice how Umnichka is putting in some extra information in there and looking for every opportunity to really flesh out these answers. And that's what I want to see you doing as well as your Russian. This is how you get your Russian better and better, is you bulk up. You bulk up your sentences, put a bunch more extra stuff in there. Imagine you're getting paid by the word and just say a whole bunch of extra stuff. So notice how smart Nasha Umnichka is. She's adding in all sorts of extra little information. Окей, хорошо. Следующий вопрос. Номер 9. Русская грамматика трудная? Что трудное? Бедняжка says, да, очень трудный. Падежи трудный. Okay, then we come over here to наша умничка. Умничка, как вы думаете, русская грамматика трудная? Что трудное? Умничка says, да, русская грамматика очень трудная. Падежи трудные. И совсем другой алфавит. Вот. Okay, so let's look at бедняжка. He says, да, очень трудный. For instead of трудная. So bless his heart, he didn't even notice that трудная was laid out for him in the question. The grammar was already laid out for him in the question, and he still managed to butcher this. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Какой бедняжка. So yeah, he wasn't even paying attention to the question. Bless his heart. So if he was, he would have said, oh, грамматика трудная. That's my cheat sheet right there. And then he says, падежи трудные. He didn't make трудный plural. Трудные. Okay? Good. So now for the rest of the questions, we're just going to listen to umnichka. Okay? And I also want you thinking how you're going to answer these questions, because in our next video, I am going to randomly throw these questions at you, not in the order that they're in the textbook. and you're going to practice answering like an umnichka. How many different things can you say about this? Can you show off? Hey, look, Janey, I've been paying attention. I paid attention when you taught us about blah, blah. And now I'm saying it on my oral exam. This is a celebration of everything I've learned. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some more questions out there and you'll get to hear Umnichka's answer to them and kind of imagine how would Bidnyashka have answered these questions. Okay, here we go. So the next question, again, no more Bidnyashka. We've had enough of Bidnyashka. He just had a meltdown. He just stopped mid-oral exam, bless his heart. Okay, how about we do this? Вопрос номер 10. У вас есть муж или жена? Они красивые? Okay, Умничка answers this question. Да, у меня есть муж. Он бразилец. Он очень сильный и красивый. У него очень красивая улыбка. Мне также нравятся его мускулы. Ням-ням, да. Вот. Окей, вопрос номер 12. Ваша семья большая? У вас есть старший брат? У вас есть младшая сестра? Так. Да, моя семья очень большая. У меня есть старший брат и старшие сестры. Я самый младший ребенок в семье. Okay, so also this is a great listening comprehension activity for you. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Номер 13. Что вам нравится? Что вам не нравится? Мне нравится природа, музыка и вкусная еда. Конечно, мне нравится русский язык. Мне не нравятся пробки и мясо. Мне не нравится депрессивная погода. Да, сегодня как раз дождь идет. Окей, вопрос номер 14. Какой цвет ваш самый любимый цвет и почему? Это легкий вопрос. Мой самый любимый цвет оранжевый. Он мне нравится, потому что мое самое любимое время года – осень. И последний вопрос, номер 15. Откуда ваше имя? Откуда ваша фамилия? Вам нравится ваше имя? Почему да или почему нет? Мое имя английское. Да, мое имя английское. Это имя от моей прапрабабушки. Моя фамилия датская. Мне очень нравится моя фамилия. У меня очень уникальная фамилия. Вот, это все. Хорошо, это все. So I hope you understood all of those, and I hope as you were listening to Binyashka answer those questions, you were able to identify his mistakes, and you will not make the same mistake. You will not be a Binyashka. You'll be an Umnichka. Okay, хорошо, это все. In tomorrow's video, you're going to be listening to a mystery person answer these questions, one of my most favorite figures from Russian history, and you're going to try and figure out who is this person, and then you're going to practice. You will practice being asked these questions, and you're going to talk to yourself out loud like a complete weirdo. Whatever you're doing, I need people looking at you and being worried about your mental health, okay? Хорошо, это все на сегодня. Пока-пока.